Hi everyone, Sajid Amit here and welcome to my review of the ZMF Bokeh. The ZMF Bokeh is a modestly priced headphone in the pantheon of expensive headphones that nowadays constitute Summit Fi. So it is a headphone that's priced at $1,200-ish, between $1,100 to $1,200, and if you keep adding accessories to it, which you can, I'll leave a link to the ZMF shopping website, the ZMF website on which you can shop for this or buy this. And there you'll see that if you add more cables, more accessories, more pads, tuning filters, the price of this can go up. But the stock form is around $1,200 and it's very competitively priced. So why is that interesting? Is it just because ZMF now mostly produces headphones that are in the $3,500 price point or $3,000 price point? No. I mean, partially, ZMF does produce a lot of their top heavy-hitting headphones in the $3,000, $3,500 price point. And those headphones compete with the Susvaras and Staxis of the world. But this is interesting not just because it's lower price, and ZMF has come out with Atticus in the past, which was around this price point. The Tour and the Tour Classic are not very expensive headphones. They're also in the $1,500 price point. So the pricing of this is just one part of the story. The other is, of course, that a lot of you have spoken about on HeadFi, the thread for this, or in other reviews that might have dropped on YouTube already, is that the tonality of this is going to be a crowd pleaser. It's exquisite. It's the upgraded version of Harman tuning that I like. It's the sort of Harman adherent, but yet, improving upon Harman kind of a tuning that I think a lot of you will love. So if you worship at the altar of neutral, and that's a word I personally dislike because I don't see why you would want a neutral headphone or how you can even call the Harman Target neutral, but that's a separate discussion. The fact of the matter is, if you want a balanced sounding headphone that has bass and mid-range and treble and is not offensive in any one area, this is perhaps what Harman should have sounded like, or should have graphed like rather. Which is why I'm very excited about this headphone, and which is why we need to talk about this headphone and dive deeper into this headphone. Okay, first and foremost, with that preface out of the way, let's talk about its specs. So it's around 450 grams, so it's lighter than a lot of other ZMFs. And what's interesting is that even at this price point, ZMF adheres to their aesthetic, to their sort of, aesthetic value system of giving users high-end materials. So they actually used Limba wood, real wood here, no faux wood stuff, which a lot of even more high-priced headphones like the Susvara and others use. Real wood, the chassis is made of metal. That's also very impressive. These bits are very shiny and look premium, and the headband is still made of leather, real leather. The customary ZMF style. This is a plush part here, and then there's a second, dual head strap here, and of course you can adjust it with ease. Like this, and the ear pads are roomy, and the ear pads make a difference with the frequency response. You can get different kinds of ear pads. What I've settled on here is a protein perforated ear pads, and so you are able to tweak the tonality depending on whether you use protein or you use the velour. What I think ZMF actually does suede and not velour. Or use hybrid. So the tonality will change. I've settled on the protein because with this I get the tightest bass, more warmth, and it reminds me of the Sennheiser HD600, which I have over there. And I'll be drawing comparisons to that. So let me just grab that for a second. Because this headphone, the Bokeh or the Bokeh, another reason why it's interesting is that it is, I think, the closed back upgrade to the HD600, which I think might grab attention from some of you because this is the classic headphone for everyone. Everyone has at some point owned it or heard it or loved it, and certainly loved it. A lot of people want a Summit Fi version of this. So this is not a Summit Fi per se version of the 600, but it is a more technical version of 600, which is saying a lot because you do get a fair amount of technicalities for this price point. This upgrades on the technicalities of the 600, gives you bass slam, bass impact, and retains the timbre, and then just improves upon a whole bunch of things. So, going back to specs, guys, like I said, it's made out of wood and metal and leather. It has an impedance of 80 ohms, so it does make for excellent driving with DAPs. So I've been using it mostly with my iBasso DAP. Now, this is one of the best DAPs on the planet, I think, regardless of price. This is the Ibasso DX260. And Ibasso has higher end stuff, but I just love this because it's small. I can pocket it. And this should get its own review. And the combination of this headphone with this DAP is just masterclass, mind-blowing. And I highly, highly recommend it. So this does serve a portable use case, which is slightly more difficult with other ZMFs like the Caldera closed or the Atrium closed. The Atrium closed and the Verite closed, I do scale a lot more with high-end source chains because they have high impedance. So if you add an OTL, you will open up the sound, get better bass, better timbre, better staging, etc., etc. OTLs make a noticeable difference to the sound profile, the presentation of high impedance headphones. It's 80 ohms, so it's not very difficult to drive. You can drive this with your phone even, which I don't recommend. So what I'm going to do in the rest of the review, now that you know about its basic tonal profile, A, it's an upgrade over Harman with slightly lower upper mids and better balance between sub bass and mid bass, and slightly more mid treble, which adds more definition to the sound. B, it is an upgraded closed-back HD600. And C, you can drive it off DAPs, and it's very drivable and portable friendly. And lastly, D, you still get the ZMF aesthetics, build quality, and premium material that you would not get with any other headphone manufacturer at this price point. Not even Meze, I think, can give you this level of build quality and exquisiteness of material usage at this price point. So for all these reasons, A, B, C, D, this is a stunner and this is a milestone in the headphone hobby. Okay, what I want to do now is I want to sort of live or share sort of my stream of conscious impressions of a few tracks so you get a better sense of what this sounds like off different tracks. I'm going to play some tracks that might be well known to a bunch of you, so you're able to have a reference point in terms of how this sounds instead of me just talking about its tonality and its technical performance and all that, which I will continue to, of course. Now, the first track I want to play, guys, is by Def Leppard, which is a pretty awesome rock band, and it's from the album Adrenalize, and it's a great song. The song title is, let me just play a different song. Have You Ever Needed Make Love Like a Man, which is a pretty ridiculous title, but it's a good song. So I'm going to play this. The first impression I get is the bass drops are heavy. Foreground, background are well separated. It doesn't sound squished up. And the best part about this closed back is that despite its price point, like, you're not going to consciously feel like it's a closed back because, like, I don't feel like the sound is limited by the cups here, right? I mean, it's so well damped. Again, not overly damped. So I feel like you get incisiveness, which you might lose if it was overly damped. But then because it's damped well, you don't get the sort of reverby, echoey presentation you might get with closed backs. I have this in my hand because the stage sounds wider than this. By damping it well, they almost make it sound open back, like almost. The next song I'm playing is Little Fluffy Clouds by The Orb. Laid back song. So see, immediately this headphone is playing this track in a way it's meant to be. So it's a laid back sort of affair. Tool, Stinkfist, pretty famous song. Great timbre. Ridiculously good bass. The sub bass is powerful and prominent, and it's partially because of the pads. And I think this DAP also brings out sub bass of headphones and IMs. Just superlative, punchy sub bass. I mean, the drums sound so awesome here. They sound tactile, impactful, well separated, and the sub bass digs very, very deep. The other good thing is cymbal hits and stuff, right? And the snare drums sound very, very lifelike and well defined because that's also treble at play. Because with Harman you get a completely rolled off treble, but here it's not rolled off. I mean, you have a little more energy in mid treble, and for that reason, cymbal hits and snare drum just sound very precise and very delicious. We all need a bit of treble in our lives. So the next track I'm gonna play is going to be, just bear with me, guys. Blackened by Metallica. Very energetic. So this headphone can go from being energetic to being laid back. And that's an amazing sort of amorphous malleability, malleable quality of this headphone. Headfill sounds amazing. Sounds energetic, sounds aggressive in a good way. Transients are great. The song stops and starts like it's meant to. So next song I want to play, so I have a whole bunch of rock tracks here, guys. I hope that's okay with you guys. Harvester of Sorrow. My goodness, the bass is slamming so hard. I'm also going to play a very oldie sort of track called Duran Duran called Come Undone. The vocals sound beautiful, melodic. Overall, guys, so this is one of those headphones which I think is essentially what the industry needed. Because as much as I criticize Harman, a lot of you like Harman-tuned targets and Harman-tuned IMs and headphones because Harman-tuned is safe. Harman is balanced. I don't think it's neutral because I don't think there should be a neutral for every genre. I think different genres have different kinds of neutral targets or should have. Harman is linear and balanced. This is linear and balanced, but this is an improvement over Harman. And it shows when I play these tracks. It's the bass impact is wonderful. It's warmer than Harman because it's got a little more mid bass. And again, like you talked about, the treble is just delicious. You do get some sharpness to cymbal hits. By sharpness, I don't mean sharpness that offends you. Sharpness that leads to better definition of notes and all that. Technicalities wise, guys, I've tried this over different sources. So although I strongly recommend the Ibasso DX260 for this headphone, I have tried this over with, other solid state and tube amps. And what I've found is that it does scale with different source gears because although this is a $1,000 DAP, slightly more than $1,000, I've tried it with my Hyphen EF500, EF600, and those are cheaper than the DAP, this DAP. And for whatever reason, mostly because of the fact that they're cheaper and perhaps are engineered to not give you the best possible technical performance. On those sources, this was not as resolving as it is on this. So the resolution goes up on a higher priced source. Again, I know performance and price are not exactly always positively correlated, but in this case, they happen to be. So the resolution that you can eke out of this is actually quite impressive. Like this is more resolving than I think the Focal Batiste, certainly more, even more than the Focal Celeste and the Focal Radiance. Stage-wise, I've talked about the stage. The stage doesn't feel very close. It doesn't feel very close back. Like, yes, it's a closed back. Yes, it's not exactly a Susvara-like open back. But this does not sound reverby, echoey, and just closed in and claustrophobic like a lot of closed backs can, which is a marvel at this price point. This is the Atrium Damping System ADS at play, which Zach talks a lot about. So I will leave a link to Zach's video so you can understand how the Atrium Damping System works. Okay, imaging wise, they're very well separated. I've talked about this, and dynamics are excellent. Timbre is excellent. This is perhaps the best ZMF money can buy in terms of value, and not just because it's cheap, but you get a whole lot of tonal balance here. You get a whole lot of technical performance here. The only thing I'll say before signing off is that the only reason why you would not buy this is if you want something that, I don't know, is something that's a little more traditional as form factor. So let's say, for example, if you wanted to hang this around here, this looks slightly more awkward than perhaps other headphones might. It is a little more bulbous than, let's say, a Focal Stelia or a Radiance's. So if you want to use this, let's say, for example, when you are, commuting, I think it's fine if you're in a car or something. But let's say, for example, this is what it looks like, right? So it's not exactly very comfortable to put this around your neck. This is perfect for cubicle usage. This is perfect when you're on the plane. This isolation is very decent. This is perfect for when you're sitting in your house working, if you don't want to disturb people with your open backs, etc. So this has its enormous level of use cases. Guys, I hope this headphone reaches the masses as well, because yes, it's pricey, but nowadays a lot of Bluetooth commercial headphones are $500 to $600, even from Apple, right? I hope because it's only $500 more, some of you, if you are not a self-professed, self-proclaimed audiophile, I hope some of you get to try this, because this could be your headphone that you buy and keep forever. Zach is, of course, amazing with his after-sales service, and I don't think you ever need after-sales service with ZMF, because these drivers last a lifetime. ZMF headphones last a lifetime. It's a proper luxury product. For $1,000, you get a proper luxury product that's exudes luxury, sounds luxurious, and this, guys, has my highest recommendation. As far as value goes, this is perhaps the best value product of 2024 as of the time of filming this video, which is July 2024. So that's it for me, guys. Strongest praise for this, highest praise for this. This is amazing. I find no flaws with this. Yes, I mean, you can make it a little more trebly with your velour pads. And yes, you can then rein in the treble a bit using the filters. The filters do affect the treble performance, especially on mid-treble, etc. So you can tweak it. And I think that tweaking might become, if you are a newbie, the tweaking and the whole sort of tinkering thing might be something you get confused about. But that's not really a con, is it? That's not really a flaw, is it? Overall, guys, this is perhaps flawless. Best value product of 2024. The closed back upgrade of HD600. And honestly, I hope a lot of you get to try this. That's it for me, guys. I hope this was useful. If you want to engage me more and ask questions about this, I'd love to answer your questions. Do write to me on Headfi or drop messages on this video, and I'll try to respond to each and every one of you. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next one. Bye-bye.